My name is Kyle Vigor. I'm a strength and conditioning coach here at ULM. I work with football, softball, and soccer. I'm excited to have you come in, my softball and soccer players. This is a freshman take-home packet. It's a basic packet, but it's a lot of the movements we'll eventually get to when you get you on campus. In this template, it's not as advanced as a lot of lifts you'll see when you get here, but those are movements I want to coach and be able to see with my own eyes. So this is a basic program. Bear with me on some of it as in terms of the isometric stuff. I know some of you may be able to do more time. Please feel, if necessary, that you do. I encourage you to do so. Just make sure you're using proper form. Form's really important in our program. First, I want to get into the dynamic warm-up that needs to be performed every day that you partake in any of our events. In terms of either if it's a strength and conditioning session or conditioning or speed work, this needs to be performed before. Any static stretching can be performed prior to the dynamic warm-up if you would like to include that into your program. First thing, when you're looking at the dynamic warm-up, you'll see accelerate. That just basically means accelerating out. We go 40 yards, depending on the space that you have and your constraints. Accelerating out 40 yards and then 40 yards back. It's just kind of a simple jog, time to get warmed up and to get moving. The next movement I'll get into is called the lateral step over. This is performed for 20 yards down and 20 yards back. You want to face the same direction the entire time. In the lateral step over, you saw I faced one side, okay, usually facing your right side. My feet were right underneath my hips. I was squared laterally. My first step was behind me, okay, and the emphasis is popping both knees up. So my shoulders stay square throughout the movement. My eyes stay forward. Only movement I have is at the hips. So I'm moving, that first step's behind me. This knee pops up, followed by my back knee coming up as well. Big emphasis is rising both knees. You'll hear this called a high knee karaoke. We go down for 20 yards. We come back 20 yards. The next movement is forward arm circle skip, followed by reverse arm circle skip. This movement is primarily just to kind of loosen up our shoulders. It's just an easy skip, which I'll perform following this for you. We're going down for 20 yards with forward skips, and then as you return, it's backward arm circles skipping. You'll notice that it was a forward skip, both down and back, but as I go forward, it's a front arm circle series, and as I return, I'm doing backward arm circles. Again, this is for 20 yards down and 20 yards back. The next movement will be ankle grabs, followed by backward calves. We want to go 10 yards for your ankle grabs, then you can go right into your backward calves. I'll perform the movements, and then I'll talk about them. In the ankle grab movement, our primary focus is getting both hands on the ankle or on the shin and reaching straight up, a big pull that you'll feel a stretch in your glute, followed by coming up and rising on your opposite toe. The next movement, the backward calf, is performed going in the reverse direction, straight leg, your toe is back towards your shin, and your objective is to try and get your hands to the turf without letting your toe fall or letting your knee bend. The primary focus of that is full extension of your legs. You'll feel a big stretch in your hamstring as you go. In both movements, every step is a repetition. So as soon as I pull my left ankle up, I plant my right leg and do the opposite. The next movements are lateral squat and reverse hip skips. Again, these will be performed in 10-yard increments, so 10 yards back and then 10 yards the next following movement. First, I'll go over lateral squat, followed by reverse hip skips, and detail them. In the lateral squat, we'll start out facing your right or left. The primary objective is to lunge out, reaching your butt back, your hips back, keeping your feet flat and your toes forward while keeping your chest up. Then you're going to reach back the opposite direction, pivot on that foot, and go into your next lunge. Again, the objective here is to keep the chest up, but to be able to bend at the knee, to drop your waist and push your hips back. The next movement, reverse hip skips, is just a primary movement, is kicking up, keeping your heel under your hamstring, opening your hips up, and finishing through 10 yards. The next movements are knee tuck combo and high kick walking. I will first demonstrate the movements and then detail how they are executed. Again, these movements are performed in 10-yard increments. Knee tuck combo is begun with the right leg as you pull up on the knee with the toe facing up, and your opposite leg, so your left toe, you pull yourself up as tall as you can get. Big pull on your knee, then you're lunging out, taking your elbow, in this case, if you're performing with your right knee, be your right elbow and reaching it to the turf, pushing your back leg straight. So if you're starting with your right knee, it's a big pull up, toe up on that knee, rising yourself up onto your opposite toe, your left toe, lunging out. Your knee should be directly above your ankle, taking your elbow down to the turf. You'll proceed that movement by standing still, pulling up on your left knee, and going right into the next repetition. Again, there are no shuffle steps, no free steps in between this movement. You stabilize yourself, then pull up the opposite leg. In my demonstration, I did what's called, I stepped back in terms of just pure angle that you could see what I was doing. Now the next movement, high kick walking, I just want standing up straight, chest never bows, tall chest. Give yourself a target as you reach your hands out, and you're just kicking from your hip with a straight leg, toe is again back towards your shin, and every step is a repetition. You'll perform this again. The final two movements are walking quad and walking bird dog. I will first demonstrate the movements, and then I will speak about how they are executed. Beginning with the walking quad, it is simply grabbing your left ankle and pulling yourself up as tall as you can get. Your knee should stay under your hip as you reach through the sky to get as tall as you possibly can. It is followed again by a repetition of the following leg. The objective here is to feel a stretch in the quad while reaching your arm as tall as to the sky as you can get it, coming up on that opposite toe. In the next movement, walking bird dogs, this is just a way you want to have a slight bend in the knee. You want to reach long from your hand all the way to your heel and balance your body and get parallel to the turf. So my eyes are down at the turf, my arms are as extended as long as I can get them, and my back leg is extended, keeping my hips down and my toe down towards the turf. This is just a stability movement that we perform, again, both movements at 10 yards. This is the conclusion of the dynamic warm-up. However, if you feel it necessary to perform more movements to be more adequately warm before performing your resistance training, conditioning, or speed work, please do so. Thank you.